Hey guys, it's Chris. From building up animal bones to chewing on ant butts, here are 10 of the most bizarre food trends ever. Number 10. Grass. The grass may be greener on the other side, but that doesn't mean you need to eat it. If you know a health nut, then you probably have seen them eat or consider eating or drinking grass of some shape or form. In fact, not only is this something that's been going on for 60 plus years, there are whole diets and food plans based around eating grass and other plants. Ooh. I guess to be fair, this has been proven to be healthy when done right. But what's bizarre is how this trend actually got started. You see, there was this woman named Anne Wingmore, and she had the idea to eat grass to help her heal her body and the bodies of others. She claimed she healed 2 broken legs, and she got it cemented in her head that not only was this necessary, it was vital to human survival that everyone eat grass. Her fascination grew so much that she declared herself a reverend and started a movement that got her both notoriety and a lot of money. Seriously, by the time she passed away, she and her family were filthy rich. And to her credit, people still eat grass of various sorts to this day. But it's not exactly for all the miraculous reasons that she once claimed. Number 9. Bertie Bott's every flavored chips. Points to all you Harry Potter fans that got that reference. And while that's not the name of the chips I'm talking about, it does give you an insight about what's coming. Did you know potato chips are a popular snack? They're easy to eat, fun to dip, and can easily be given to everyone. And just like other foods, adding different flavors to them adds to the fun. But there are some oddities when it comes to certain chip flavors. A trend among chip makers has them making as many odd or potentially major chip flavors as they could, like ones that taste like cheddar beer, or bacon mac and cheese, or, I kid you not, biscuits and gravy. Or if you're Canadian, ketchup chips. They're a thing, and they're delicious. It only grew from there, so if you go to your local chip aisle, go and see what odd flavors you can find. There's likely 1 or 2 that will make your eyes bulge, especially if you're traveling. Number 8. Jell-O salad. Oh, that wiggly Jell-O is a wonderful thing that has entertained and fed people for decades. Salads are arguably one of the healthiest foods around, depending on what you put in and on it regarding the dressing. But what do you get when you put an entire salad inside a layer of Jell-O? Well, you get Jell-O salad. Yay! Actually, people used to eat congealed salad all the time. Ugh. If you're wondering how crazy you'd have to be to try and serve this as a food, well, it's not as crazy as you might think when you consider when congealed salad was born. This was a product of the Great Depression, when people were just desperate for food of any kind. What's more, they sought ways to make themselves smile and laugh, and this definitely did that. Not to mention, it actually was very easy to make. Believe it or not, this idea was just one of many that came from Jell-O during that era, as they tried to make meals exciting by mixing things together with their product, which, as you may or may not know, is made of gelatin, which comes from boiling the hides of cows and pigs. This is blowing my mind as I read it. Yeah, but was it actually tasty? I mean, given the time period, that might not have been a huge requirement. Now, the modern-day version of Jell-O is made with fruit and sometimes vegetables. And now for number 7, but first, if you're new here, welcome. And be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on the latest videos. And hit us in the comments and let us know the strangest thing you've ever eaten. Number 7, black ice cream. So have you ever heard of the all-black everything movement? Well, like the name describes, it was a trend of clothing and food and even water, where you had to have black everything, which apparently included ice cream. Now, for those of you who have had a lot of ice cream, you'll know that sometimes there are black parts of the dessert, but that's not the trend here. The trend here is to have ice cream that is pure black looking. And guess what? They succeeded. Well, how did they do this? Well, apparently they activated certain charcoal ingredients in order to change the color. I mean, thankfully it doesn't taste like charcoal. It actually tastes like vanilla, apparently. Before you run out and try this thing, because of the ingredients used to color the ice cream black, eating it will turn your teeth, lips, and potentially fingers black too. Just a heads up. So should you go and get this ice cream, just be prepared for a good cleaning afterwards. Number 6, unicorn toast. No, you don't have to find a unicorn to make unicorn toast. That would be silly, but a great prank to try out on your friends. But seriously, unicorn toast is a rather odd trend that has been gaining popularity very recently, said to have been started in 2017. Now, you're probably curious, what are the requirements to make unicorn toast? Well, it's simple. You take a piece of toast, then you put all sorts of cream cheese and other ingredients on it so that it looks like a rainbow on top. Because of course you can't have unicorns without rainbows. While this may not sound that strange at first, because I mean, who doesn't love colorful food, am I right? Well, the question of the trend is basically, does it actually taste good? I don't know. For as you can see in these pictures, there are some really interesting color combinations, which means there's a lot of potential mixing of foods here and lots of dye. I can't help but wondering, but that doesn't look good for you. Or maybe this is a case of style over substance. Now, if you've ever done it and it came out well, do let me know what you did in the comments below. Number 5, instant foods. Guys, we've all done it. We've all made food that was easy to make or instant or something like that. We've all come home from a long day and we just want something easy or instant. In fact, this trend has been going on for decades as various instant foods started popping up around the 1950s to make our lives easier. I mean, I don't know about you, but I don't have the time to be preparing elaborate meals. But when you really think about it, this was one of the most important advances in the food industry, because now you didn't have to do a long, laborious process to try and make yourself some dinner. Instead, you just had to follow a few easy steps and boom, your food is done. So you might be wondering, how is this bizarre when it was revolutionary? Well, just because something sets a trend doesn't mean it started out with perfection. There was a lot of instant foods that really should never have been made, like instant potatoes or freeze-dried coffee. Furthermore, to get the instant part of the food right, the makers would use a lot of fake ingredients to make it seem like it was a home-cooked meal in a box, when it really wasn't. But hey, we all gotta start somewhere, right? And it's got a lot better since then. Well, maybe. Number 4, glitter coffee. Whether you love Folgers, Dunkin' Donuts, Starbucks, or something in between, coffee is likely a big part of your life, and if it isn't, that's perfectly fine. The one problem with coffee is that there are so many brands and types and flavors, it can be near impossible to find one to choose from. I mean, that goes for coffee chains too. They have to figure out how to make their coffee stand out. And for a few chains, they realized the answer. It's glitter. But fear not, this isn't just regular glitter, it's actually an edible form that won't even make you sick that I know of. And to be clear, the glitter isn't an ingredient in the coffee per se, but rather, it's put on the top to make the coffee be more visually pleasing. This all started with a chain of coffee shops called Coffee by DeBella, and they used it to bring some more spice to their coffees. A chain in the UK later found out about this and they did the same. On a certain level, I understand doing it, it helps them stand out, but the idea of glitter in coffee, a type you can eat? Yeah, I mean, that's just weird. But I definitely know some coffee nuts who would love it. Number 3, glossy icing. Time for a pop quiz. What are the 3 most important parts of a cake? Well, here's the answer. Well, there's the outside, the inside, and the icing. But a bizarre trend that has been cooking up recently, you see what I did there, is having a very special kind of icing on their cake. How special? Well, this icing is so glossy that you can actually see yourself in it. In fact, this icing is literally called glossy icing. And it's done not just to make the cake more shiny, but also to make it appear bigger, even though it isn't. So why is this bizarre? While I'm all for aesthetics when it comes to cake, do I really need to see my reflection in it? I don't think so. Number 2, bone broth. I cannot believe this is real, but it is, and it's growing in trends. Soup is very simple. You have the food that you actually eat, and then you have the broth that you drink. Now, people have gotten very specific about the kind of broth they have because sometimes it isn't healthy. But making a broth out of bones? While people have been doing this for hundreds of thousands of years, nowadays we get everything in a nice package so we don't even think about where our food comes from. But, grossly, all broth made from animals is made from boiling up their leftover parts, and companies then transform it into broth that they use in soups. According to sources, it is healthy to an extent and has no calories basically. But the taste, well, you might want to consider something else. Yet, for those who are seeking good health, I can see why you may want to go this route. Number 1, bugs. You might see this and think, come on guys, outside of survival shows and game shows, people don't eat bugs. Yeah, you really want to make that bet? The somewhat sad and definitely creepy truth is that the idea of eating bugs isn't just a trend. It's a global one, and people take it to all sorts of extremes in order to eat them and eat healthy. Now, that doesn't mean you should just go out into the world, catch a bug, and eat it. That's not exactly healthy, and eating the wrong bug can be lethal, no joke. But if you go to the right marketplace or dealer, you can get things like cricket flour, which is very high in protein, and you can use that to make various kinds of food. Granted, you can also eat bugs as they are, just cooked a bit. Some people even deep fry bugs or cover them in chocolate to enhance the flavor. Not exactly 100% healthy, but whatever gets it down, right? In Colombia, South America, for example, people love to eat the ant with the large behind because apparently it's salty and crunchy. In Asia, you can even get crickets on a stick, no problem. To some countries, cooking and selling bugs as food is a really big business and a delicacy. So if you see someone eating an insect, don't worry. Maybe you ask if you can have some. You know, it might be delicious and we've just been missing out this whole time. Or it's gross, like we think it is. Guys, thanks for watching. Have you ever taken part in some of these trends? Let me know in the comments below and be sure to subscribe. We'll see you next time on W5L.